Beginner Terran opening. The Pig Daily episode number 153. That's what we're talking about today, guys. Today we're going to talk about a strong opening for a beginner Terran player to use in all three matchups. You can use this in every situation. It allows you to build economy and expand quickly. And you can use this for the first few minutes to give you a very consistent start, allow you to get used to your macro, your practice. From this, you can branch off into any bio style. I apologize for you mech lovers. There will be a mech beginner opening coming out soon. So before we get into the game, guys, I do want to say, if you haven't played a lot of 1v1, first of all, go watch the Pig Daily episode number 16, hopping into 1v1 for the first time. It talks a lot about constantly building workers, not getting supply blocked, and that stuff is really important because I'm not going to focus on that here. We're going to just focus on the build order, and we're going to take that as assumed knowledge. So that's Pig Daily number 16. There's also going to be a little reference to Pig Daily number 10 later on, but I'll fill you in on that when we get there. For now, let's hop into game. Let's walk you through the opening. All right, start SCV production immediately. We're going to rally our first SCV up to our ramp, guys. And here we go. I hope you don't mind the diva voice back in the background. For any of you who are a little bit allergic to cringy humor, you might find yourself in a lot of pain over the next minute or two, but that's all right. You're going to have to bear with it to get the juicy goods of this opening. Non-stop SCV production, of course. That was a 14 depot. Basically as fast as you can get it without stopping SCV production. And from here, we are going to go for a 16 barracks and a 16 gas. All right, as soon as that depot finishes, 16 barracks, and you should get enough money for a gas just a second later. There we go, 16 gas, beautiful. So this opening is going to be 3 barracks. It's going to allow us to get a lot of bio production out. We are going to go into medevacs, and really just bio and medevacs are kind of the core units that you need. They're going to give you the strong, flexible, aggressive power that really defines Zerg play. Now notice I did just send this guy 17th SCV. So I rallied my 17th SCV out to the other side of the map, keeping up my SCV production at home. Now look at this, I'm already rallying this guy from the barracks down to mine 5 minerals, and then we're going to tell it to build the command center when we get 400 minerals. For now, we're waiting for that barracks to finish, so here on 19 supply, we can go orbital and reactor immediately. All right. So orbital command center, reactor. As soon as we get 400 minerals, we will build this. Of course, that reactor costs as much as a Reaper, so it works out exactly the same in this opening phase as a Reaper opening, if you've done one of those before. And next up will be at 20 supply. We're going to put down a second barracks. So I can just put that right up there. Just put them in line, make my life simple. Now notice I've already queued up this SCV to come home. Alright, let's start that marine production. Ooh, a little bit slow here on the second depot. I should have put this second depot down on 21 supply just before those marines started. So just a slight mistake there. I am a bit of a nub, guys. I make mistakes. I'm human. Third barracks will go down on 23 supply as well. Now notice no second gas. We don't need that yet. Just getting a lot of gas out of this one gas geyser that we're mining from. And lots of marine production from here. Let's build a tech lab on that second barracks. Awesome. All right. So this is really nice, easy build order for this opening stage. Just non-stop marine production. Let's get stim, marines, not marauders, out of that tech lab barracks. And we're going to get another reactor on our third barracks. Beautiful. Now once stim started, your next 100 gas goes into a factory. So we're gonna get that factory down now. And once that factory goes down, we're also gonna drop our second gas geyser. So we can drop the second gas geyser now that the factory is down. I'm just building lots and lots of SCVs, and from about 38 supply, you want to be starting more depot production. You'll notice, ooh, I'm all the way up at 41, so I could have started these a few seconds earlier. As long as you start them around 40 supply, it's usually not too bad, but better to start earlier rather than later, because if you get supply blocked, that is one of those things we want to really avoid. And from here, it's just non-stop depot production. You know, you can just keep queuing them up with at least one worker at a time. Now, as soon as your factory is finished, you want to go for a starport and a reactor. And you want to just keep massing up these Marines. Now, if you're ever wanting a bit of scouting information, I'll talk about it more later. But you can always just send an SCV to sit outside their base. Your initial SCV scout can also actually stay and hide. So I'm going to simulate that as if I remembered to do it this game. I haven't done this build in too much. It's always a little bit hard when you're talking at the same time to remember all the little details. But you can actually hide that SCV on their side of the map for a later on scout. And that's like a really cool thing you can do. So here you're just kind of building lots of Marines. Now you can swap these over. And you can start your double medevac production. What's really cool as well with this build is if you're ever worried about flying units or invisible units, you can start an engineering bay a lot earlier at about 4 minutes. Or you can wait till later if you're happy to skip that and you feel you don't need detection or you don't need those turrets for anti-air. You want to start combat shields as soon as stim finishes, and as your medevacs come out, you're reaching the end of this opening, where from here you can branch however the hell you want. So right here at 5 minutes 30, that's the end of the opening build. I am going to cut off the spawning tool link there. And what do you do from here, guys? Well, you can do whatever you want. You can always, the plan with Terran is to drop a 3rd command center, 2 engineering bays, and then go up to 5 barracks. However, when do you do it? What order do you do that in? That is totally up to you. You can choose. Like I said, this is an opening guide. Maybe you'll want to go siege tanks with your factory. Maybe you want to do a big 2-base push. So you go for 5 barracks and you start building siege tanks straight away. And only after you do your push, or as you're moving out with your push, do you take your 3rd command center and your engineering bays. Maybe you want to macro up instead. Maybe you say, I'm going to not take my extra barracks. I'm not even going to use my factory to produce for a little bit. I'm just going to build a 3rd command center and 2 engineering bays straight away and get my economy up. You can do whatever the hell you want from here. We're just focusing on this initial opening stage. So you've got 3 barracks, you get up the factory, you get up the starport, you can build your medevacs. Let's go and talk about scouting, staying safe. How do you do that with this opening? How do you react to just a few basic things? And of course, I've got more comprehensive videos on these topics out there. But let's take a look at this. Now, with your early SCV scout, after you scout the base, you really should hide it up at their 3rd or 4th base. So later on, you can just send that scout through their base. Likewise, you can always grab either Marines or SCVs, and you'll want to leave one outside your opponent's base so you can see when they leave their base. There's some great tips in Fundamentals of StarCraft Daily number 10 on how to do that. You can even, if you really love map control, you can leave like Marines in the middle of the map as well. You can like leave one outside your base. So you see, I'm just putting Marines all over the map. I just scouted the natural. If you ever want to, you can drop a scan as well, but no earlier than about 4 minutes do you want to be dropping that scan. And you can go, ooh, what's going on? I'm playing an easy AI. It doesn't really do anything. It builds a zealot and a few probes, and that's about it. So sending these scouts on the map is important. Your first early scout is very important. And what are the key moments that you want to look for? The first one is to send in a Marine, an SCV, maybe that hidden SCV scout at 3 minutes. And if your opponent doesn't have an expansion at 3 minutes, what do you do? Well, you basically go, at that point, you wouldn't have any SCVs at your natural. You'd maybe have like 2 SCVs mining. What you'd do is you'd make sure you don't build any depots on the low ground. You just build them on the high ground. And you probably just build some bunkers. You'll be like, oh, let's be really safe. Let's build some bunkers. Let's make sure all my units are on top of my ramp so I can hide behind my wall. If a bunch of adepts run in here, if a bunch of stalkers run in here, maybe my opponent pushes with some fast reapers, whatever the case may be, walling up in your main base, using some bunkers, and then waiting until you've got medevacs and stim finished is going to make sure you can stay nice and safe. So that's really important for you. Yeah, so you don't really have the game knowledge to react too much to your scouting, which is why we are focusing on map control. As a beginner player, the most important thing is to just see your opponent when they're coming towards you, and you can go, oh, he's coming towards me. Let's make sure I'm ready for that. If it's a big, scary army, maybe I pull my army back and hide behind my wall. And if it's just a small couple of units, maybe like I move out like this and I go, oh, killed you. And then I reestablish that map control. So I'm going to send a few more Marines out on this map. And that's going to give me all the vision I need. There's no big, crazy reactions you need to do. just doing a scan once in a while as the game goes on, or sending in a Marine Scout. That's just to see what their army looks like, see if there's anything crazy. If your opponent's going mass air, make sure you have stuff that shoots up. If they've got, lots of splash damage, maybe you don't want as many Marines. Maybe you want more Marauders. There's a few basic reactions you can do, which you'll learn to be better and better at as you go on. But for the most part, just try to keep track of how many bases your opponent takes and see when they move out on the map and what their army looks like and what size it is to pick your engagements. As I said before, if you're worried about flying units, just drop the engineering bay at 4 minutes, and as soon as it finishes, drop a missile turret in each base, and that will keep you safe against 90% of the rushes you're going to face, and that should work out really, really well. So guys, I think that about sums it up. Let's pause that game. Let's hop out of there. Covered most of the important points. Didn't want this to be a crazy long video or anything. I think that's it. I'm looking at my notes. I'm making sure I didn't forget anything. I think I talked about absolutely everything. That's it. So this is a solid build order. This is really generically good. However, if you guys are maybe Gold League or above, you might want to try something a little bit more advanced that still works in all 3 matchups. In that case, look up my guide on the 2-1-1 for every matchup. That's a video that's going to be going out just a few days after this one as well. For now, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Do remember, there's no absolute guide to winning at StarCraft. This is just an opening guide. It gives you a solid basis. There's always going to be crazy rushes you need to react with. I've given you a few scouting tells, like if you see no expansion at 3 minutes, try and be a lot safer. But there's always going to be new things that can surprise you. And it's up to you to be critical, to watch your replays, to ask people on Twitch chat or in the forums or my Discord channel for advice, and steadily figure out the game as you go, because your opponents are going to be working just as hard to kill you and surprise you as you are them. There's no way to be 100% perfect in everything you're doing. So fall in love with it, be critical, enjoy losing as much as you enjoy winning, and it should be awesome. Don't forget to send in replays for Icy Far as well. The challenge is down below in the description. It will be Siege Warfare if you're watching this video right after it went live. However, for most of you guys watching this, there will be a more up-to-date topic, so go check that one out in the more recent videos. That's all for now, guys. Don't forget to hug a watermelon, kick a walrus, and of course, punch a garden gnome in the gonads. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night. Bye.